I'm here with a very special guest, Daniel Fernandez from TMC Capital, CEO and founder also?
Not the founder.
Not the founder, but you seem like you are, dude. You've been rolling with this forever, right?
Been trying.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about TMC Capital. I'll just tell you this right now. Eli Taco loves TMC Capital. You guys have been supporting us for like years now. You've also come through and helped fund us and seeking funding, and which is something that's not unique to us. It's something you do with the community and a lot of business owners. And restaurants that we've actually worked with and helped highlight in the community. So I wanted to bring him in because it's a really interesting story, what you guys are doing. You're basically giving folks that don't have access to capital these kind of like micro loans and stuff like that. But I'll have you explain and break it down because I don't want to fuck it up. Please tell us what you do.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Memo. Community Capital. We are really just trying to change the way that finance moves through community, right? I know growing up, we always hear that no one teaches us this stuff. And so I think one of the guiding lights at our organization and what we do is trying to make finance approachable. I'll venture to say cool. But even just, I think, going as far as to understand how businesses really operate, right? I was fortunate enough to have a grandmother who was a flea market vendor, and she was,
the flea market vendor?
Flea market vendor.
What, like old collectibles, baseball cards?
No. Like you left your shoes there on Saturday, and she went to sell them on Monday.
No shit.
Yeah. And then it was like cocktails.
She had the Sykes and the Adidas with 4 Ds.
The Mikeys.
The Mikeys.
The Mikeys. The Jordans with a belly with a panza. That was her job. She raised 10 kids and 60 some odd grad kids. And if you were there for the weekend, you were helping to pack the van, and that's what we all did. And she would have never considered herself a business owner, right? But it was the means to purchasing a home and, taking care of the family. And so in that, you learn of like a whole microeconomy that exists in that world. And there weren't banks that were coming to help those businesses grow. Right. It was
banks were going to like swap meets to be like, hey, you need a loan for your business?
No, but people knew they needed loans. Right. And so who was there? Loan sharks, right. Title loan companies. And that became kind of the lifeblood of how those communities operated. And I always think of like that Dave Chappelle joke. It was like, you're in the hood when it's like gun store, liquor store, gun store, liquor store. Yeah. I felt like that's what it was where we lived. And it was payday lender, title loan company. And that to say that at Community Capital, it was like, what happens if you acknowledge that we're not going to a bank as a community to get capital? Where are we going? And can we build an alternative to the alternative? There's oftentimes a thought around, the markets that we're in being subprime. And so if it's subprime, it needs to be risk-based pricing. And so you see justification for really high interest rates in a market. Well, in a market where people explain it as there's nowhere else for them to go.
You're losing a lot of language that I'm sure your mom and tias and grandmas never heard of before, right?
Right.
So I'm sure you're dealing with a lot of these kind of folks that don't know these kind of this lingo, right? The financial lingo. Is this something that you find that you also have to explain and kind of walk people through?
Absolutely. I think, we're taking the time to do that. And I think that's what is special about who we are and what we do. Sitting people down, but also trying to get mass information out there. We've been using media to do definitions of terms or what you need when applying for a loan, financial documentation, all of that in a way that is really trust-based. You're not going to go in and talk to a banker, but anyone will talk to Myra or Natalie or right. Leo, right? So it's.
So you said initially that you try to make this cool, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So how do you make this cool? Are you going out there? Are you recruiting? You're talking to businesses, speaking in layman terms, or are people coming to you? What's your strategy to reach the community and let them know that you're sourcing? And we're going to get into how you get all this money and the sourcing, which is really fucking cool. But how do you do your outreach and education for the community?
Being in community. And I think it's a thing in our industry that you see often, but you don't see it done in a way that is, it honors the way that we like to show up, right? I like music. I like sports, right? why aren't we at those places?
Right.
You know, when we're tabling or when we're looking for partnerships, reaching out to LA Taco as one of our favorite, media outlets was like, hey, that's our audience. Why aren't we trying to talk to them there?
Literally how we've learned about you guys, because you guys reached out to us.
Yeah. Otherwise, you live in a bubble. We're at like job fairs, or this hoping that the city invites us to a small business symposium or what have you, and those are great, but I think when you're trying to build trust, where you show up is big, and how you show up, and so like we have a no suits rule at Community Capital. We want to show up as ourselves.
I'm all about the no suits rule. I don't think anybody's ever seen me in a suit. You were just mentioning, you're like, is all your shirts LA Taco shirts? I'm like, yes.
If they drop an LA Taco suit, though, it's got
LA
your name.
Taco suit would go crazy.
3-piece. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, dude. But you're not from LA, right?
I'm not.
You're what, Oakland? Bay Area?
No, Bay Area, San Jose, East San Jose to be exact.
East San Jose.
Yes, sir.
And is that where TMC Capital started?
Started in the Bay Area, started in Oakland.
Okay.
2019, our founder, Barbara Morrison, similar idea, right? Is, the online lending landscape is growing. There should be some good guys in that space. And yeah.
What are the bad guys in this space? And now you mentioned a little bit about the loan sharks, right? And I don't want to get loan sharks coming after you and breaking your legs. But there is a lot of predatory lending, right? With high interest rates and stuff like that. What are some things that people can do to protect themselves, and what distinguishes your approach versus their approach? Like, you're not going around with bats in a suit; you're going around with sneakers and a t-shirt.
Right. The bat's in the car, just in case. Yeah.
I heard you need a loan.
Yeah. It's getting easier day after day for folks to access these types of lenders. And if you Google small business lending, you're going to hear a few things that stand out and are very appealing. They're going to fund you in 24 hours. They're going to tell you there's no credit score needed, little to no financial documentation. You hear any of those things, your spidey senses should be tingling.
Sounds like Curaçao commercial. Take this toaster with 50% interest.
They are good toasters, though. We've been there. And then, honestly, as simple as the way that companies quote their pricing. If you're hearing daily interest, if you're hearing like 1% interest, that sounds amazing. You think you're making a good financial decision, but that's 1% daily. And no one does that math. You amortize that. Sometimes it's as high as 85% APR. So really,
85%, that's what you're seeing?
85% on average. Online, it's as high as 385%. It's nuts out there right now.
Sounds like Trump's 50-year mortgage plan. Sorry. But all right, that's amazing, dude. But why did you see this need? Did you see this need because of your upbringing with your mom? Did you see it just in general? Like, obviously, we didn't see anybody else going. Like, historically, I think people know that historically it's been very tough for people that own small businesses to get a loan, right? You need collateral, right? You need assets to leverage your loan and all that kind of things. What kind of things do you guys require or look for to be able to give somebody a loan that doesn't have any of that?
Yeah, it comes with an understanding. Again, there's a lot of common sense that goes into our approach, and understanding what, your average run-of-the-mill community business, how they operate, right? Probably not going to have like a 3-year financial statement available at the ready. But that those businesses are doing well. They've been there for generations. And so for us, it was taking the time to understand how businesses operate. And so from a baseline requirement, it's, 1 year in business is what we require. We're looking at 3 months of your most recent bank statements. And that's about it, honestly. From then on, it's a conversation with our team for us to understand how your business is operating. But there's a ton that I think our organization is proud of that we've built with respect to technology that helps to fill in those gaps, right? Things around, your community standing. How long have you been there? Are you working with any resource organizations? All that kind of creates a scoring system that replaces, your traditional FICO score. The 700 FICO score and a 3-page financial document is not often something that we're going to see, but it doesn't mean that you're not a good borrower.
Interesting. Okay. Now, I've seen a lot of the restaurants that you've helped out, and businesses. I don't know if I want to shout them out or not, but how have you seen the work you've been doing affect these businesses and communities? Because I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you always have like the recognition awards that you do. It's called the Real Fest, right?
Yeah.
And then a lot of times it's like I went to one of these. I got recognized one year. Thank you for that. But it was surprising.
It was at the beginning, and we would honor anyone at that point. So we were like, okay. I was like, maybe Memo will do it.
Thank you for coming by the studio. No, but like, yeah, definitely. I've seen I saw a lot of these businesses you've been helping out in restaurants, small businesses, and yeah, it's really they're when you give them the money. We were talking about the literacy, right, or the understanding of financial terms and how money works. Do you find often that do you provide like guidance for them and like how to properly use this money so that they can get the most bang out of it for their investment?
Yeah. See, I think that's something that it's an assumption that we make that literacy is the issue. These businesses have been around for a long time. They're doing well. They're well-versed business owners. They know their business. I think one of the issues with our industry is that we overprescribe education and never figure out innovative ways to actually give folks capital. So in a world where a borrower comes and they don't have everything that you need, instead of trying to find a way to make the deal work, we say, oh, they need to be better educated on what's required for a loan versus maybe trying to challenge the paradigm. We hear time and time again that folks are tired of going to the 8-week workshop. I've done 17 business plans. I only need $50,000. Right. And folks are telling us time and time again that, you know, they're essentially overeducated and underfunded.
Interesting. So this is why you do this, right? You're trying to get past the speeching and the education and the workshops. You're trying to actually get money in people's hands. So I just saw that you did about $5 million in loans this year?
This year.
Just this year?
Yeah.
Where does a fool like you wearing sneakers and T-shirts convince people that have this money, or where are you getting this like millions of dollars from?
That's where the bat comes in handy a little bit. We're a nonprofit organization at the end of the day, but we are an investment firm. It's just who and how we're investing is really intriguing to people right now. We often talk about everything that's happening in the world right now, particularly in our communities, particularly in California, even more specifically in LA. What are we doing to fight back? What is your biggest weapon? Capital can be that weapon. And so I think as everything kind of took place at the top of this year, and there was a lot of rolling back of social impact programs and DEI and focusing in on communities of color, our team kind of drew a line in the sand and said, we're not going to change our language. We're not going to pretend like we're not trying to do this work. There was a reaction from a lot of our industry that was trying to figure out how do we stay safe and be considered a safe investment for folks that want to do this work. And, you know, we went back and forth on what was going to be the best play for us in deciding to highlight that we are a community lender. We know what our community looks like. We are what our community looks like. We're going to double down. As a result, we had the biggest year that we've had since our inception, because I think the folks that wanted to invest in this kind of work came to us with larger investments than they ever had, and really felt like by putting the capital in our hands, we were going to put it in the community's hands.
Interesting. And the communities like that you are targeting are specifically Latino, Black, Brown,
women,
yeah, LGBTQ, underserved communities, and that's what your focus is.
That's our focus.
What's driving you to this, man? Like, this is quite an ambitious, and I've met your team, and your team is amazing, driven, dedicated. It's very surprising to find a group of people that like understand that the issue is money. Like, I remember I was at a barbecue, a carne asada with my tío and some of his employees, and everybody's getting drunk, and my tíos and everybody were talking about like, man, I got ideas to do this, and I want to do that, and like ideas and that stuff, and one of his employees was like drunk and says like, man, I got ideas too. What I don't have is money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I just like always remembered that. Like, it was hilarious, but it's so true. People have ideas and concepts, but they don't have the money. So I commend you for figuring that out, because I don't think there's many people that are doing that and realize that just some of these people just need that money. But what's driving you? Like, what made you want to do this and like focus your energy on this?
Yeah. I spent a lot of time in banking. I was a banker for, almost a decade. And as every bank has their community-centered programs, it was very rarely focused around lending. And so, as a first-generation person in my family with a very similar makeup at our carne asadas where people want to talk to the money guy because they have an idea, right? Yeah. I was never going to be able to help those people. Right. And that became like an ongoing frustration for me of like, we're popping up branches in these communities, but we're not intentionally trying to solve the issue, right? And the more you go down the rabbit hole, it's not necessarily that folks aren't trying to solve the issue. It's that the folks that they are see it as really, really profitable. And could there be a good guy in the space to, again, be that alternative to the alternative? And are there things that we take for granted? I think something like lending is unchanged since the beginning of time. How we think about it, what documents are required, with the advent of technology and all the things that are available to us right now, it seems almost simple, not easy, but simple to try to create change and do something as thought of as complex as lending in a way that helps more people.
Do you see yourself as breaking the barrier here?
It's a big question. I think we are driving change.
You're driving change.
We're driving change.
I would say you're breaking barriers. I know you're scared to say it because money is a huge barrier for people. I mean, it's the barrier. It's the reason that people cross borders and walls, It's the reason it holds them back and they can't, get themselves situated or start that business plan. I would say you're breaking barriers, but you're saying you're driving change.
Driving change.
Like not quarters and dimes. Like real change that people need.
I think that systems need. I think at the same level that we're helping families and neighborhoods, we're also the fastest growing organization in the state. And the way that we're doing it has never been done before. The way that we show up, the way that we talk about the work, the volume that we're doing, the sheer number of borrowers that we're going after with the approach that we have, we want it to kind of be an example that other people can do it this way as well. If you have an organization that is doing this kind of work, that there's dollars outside of federal investment without red tape for you to go after the crazy ideas. And I think in that regard, I would definitely tell you that we're breaking barriers.
What's your success rate for businesses that actually succeed with the lending you give them?
So again, this would be considered like subprime high risk business.
Yeah.
We have a 95% repayment rate on folks that are coming. And these are folks that are, again, would not be getting access anywhere else. People would tell you that's not a good bet. They don't have what it takes.
The banks would be like, do not lend to these people.
If the banks knew, or if they could get 95% repayment on them, they would.
That's crazy.
And I think that's what we want to lift up. If you can take a market that is seen as high risk and prove over time that it's actually a really, really good bet, you start to get real change.
Why do you think that you have such a good success rate? Do you think it's because it's people are, know how to handle their money, they take it seriously? You think it's their honest ethic? What do you think it is?
It's all of that.
Yeah.
It's trusting that people know what they need the money for and that they know their business. The second part of it is it's an opportunity. Folks treat it well. We can be that step for them along the way. Maybe it's $50,000 right now, but if they're going to need more in the future, they know that they've developed a relationship with TMC Community Capital and they can come back. And so it's all of that kind of playing into being a resource.
Yeah. I mean, I've met several of these people, and I've known them before they even started working with TMC. And I can tell you how enthusiastic they are to, first of all, get this funding and be associated with TMC. Yeah. You do guys make it cool. I've been to some of your events, and you do make it feel very cool. Never thought that would be possible. I don't see you guys as a bank, but I do see you as more of a community resource. And I do see you guys effectively getting out there in the community, which is why I appreciate you. And I also appreciate you guys, working with you through LA Taco and you guys. So there's been a lot of synergy in the way that we try to help the communities in the same way. So I appreciate that a lot. I can tell you this right now. that the businesses that you've helped out have been a wide range of businesses, from somebody that just makes salsa, right, to somebody that's like does vegan food or pop-ups, to other people with clothing lines. Explain some of like is there anything very unique to you that you think those businesses that you help have that a bank would not approach?
Oh, I mean, trucking. We've done stuff in the music industry, entertainment. I think those are the through line between all of those. Those are the hardest type of deals to fund.
Yeah.
And I think that is what our team gets excited about, is finding a way to do the hard shit. And they do it well. And so I think you can get in the saddle with an entrepreneur around a really difficult challenge that they're having and figure it out. And I think people get funded and tell their friends tell their friends, which is, for us has been like 500% growth across almost 3 years.
What's the average loan amount?
It's small. I mean, it's micro lending at the end of the day, or it's roughly about $20,000 or so is what we're seeing. And I think that's the story too, is that a little bit of money goes a long way, and that we're seeing folks multiple times throughout, a 3-year period. It might start at 20,000, but they're back in, a year with that loan paid off, and now they're ready for 50,000.
Oh,
right?
Wow. So you got this relationship building now with these businesses. It's not just like a one-off.
Not a one-off. It's also incentivizes the maturation of a business, right? We can say, hey, based on what we have right now, it's $20,000. If you could get more formalized documentation, or if we made this move here with regard to your business plan, we could probably come back in about a year and double this amount. And the number of people that come back to us, having done all that stuff, it's amazing. It's really cool to watch, folks.
What is that number?
Oh, man. For us, again, to the tune of, I'll give a 2-year comparison. So in our first year of lending, we did 62 loans. That was 2022. This past year, we just finished 417 loans.
Wow.
Of that, a significant portion of those are folks that are coming back to us.
700% increase or something. Math is terrible.
Carry the one. And
I'm not. That's why I don't do.
I'm in finance, but they have calculators. So
that's crazy, dude. What's the end game for you guys? What's the goal? Like, because you started in the Bay, now you're down in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Where else are you going and spreading? And what's the goal?
We're statewide. We're this year was focused in the IE, San Diego, trying to get projects started in Fresno, in the central part of the state. But I don't know if I can tell you that there's like an end goal as much as there is, a focus on helping as many people as possible. And if there's a way for us to change systems along the way, then I think we're doing what we're supposed to do. I think if, folks are continuing to have fun, that's, a major plus. But, we're in uncharted territory. We're at 417 loans. I think if we can get to a place to where we're doing 1,000 loans annually, you've put something really meaningful. In
1,000 businesses.
1,000 businesses a year.
That's crazy.
Is what we're marching towards. That's
amazing, dude. So we've talked about how your approach to lending is basically overcoming the obstacles of having to deal with banks. But you still must have some obstacles that you're seeing small businesses have. Like, what are some of the things that you see are still tough, even when you're trying to help these businesses? Maybe things that they could get some help in. Like, what are some of the biggest obstacles for small businesses right now to get a loan, even through TMC?
Cash flow. People are still trying to make it out here. And entrepreneurism is, the olive branch to like economic sustainability, but it's also the hardest. Yeah. And so it really comes down to time. People are trying to manage their business, trying to manage their families.
They still got a job on the side.
Still got a job. And then you're coming in and you're trying to be bold enough to say, I want to grow it. If I could have $30,000, I could buy another truck and double my sales. Time is really the biggest one that we see.
At the very minimum, these folks have to show at least a year of cash flow going through and showing like a success in their business. It can't just be like, I got an idea, let me get $20,000.
We want a little bit of skin in the game, right?
Skin in the game.
But how we'll assess cash is part of what makes us us too, right? Again, we're not expecting to see a balance sheet, but show us your Venmo. Let us take a look at your Zelle. You got a cash ledger? We got a model for
Pull
that.
the shoebox out of the bed.
There you go. Next to the bat.
That's amazing, dude. So you're doing all this work in the community and giving them money and helping these businesses out. You're going to get to 1,000. I believe you're going to do that soon. But you're not just doing that. You also have this whole project called the Community Chronicles, right? You're telling people stories too, which is something that we're in line with. Tell us a little bit about that, and why is it important for you to not just loan the money, but also tell their stories? Yeah,
it's probably our favorite project at Community Capital right now. Shout out to Found LA who sponsored and helped bring it to life. But for us, it's advocacy, but through storytelling. As powerful as the capital is, who's receiving it? And those stories that I told you about people understanding what they need it for, like who better to tell that story than the actual business owners? And so for us, it's going to their business. And sometimes that's a kitchen. Sometimes that's their home, right? But showing, I think, the reality of what the small business makeup is of our communities, really who they are, it's been special.
I mean, it just comes to show like how well you understand and take the time to understand the people that you're lending. You're not just trying to understand their bank ledgers. You're trying to understand their story and tell it and help it succeed.
Yeah.
I feel like at LA Taco, we're very innovative in our approach to media, and a lot of people give us a lot of credit for that. And I feel like that's what you're doing on the lending side.
Thank you.
So credit to you guys.
I really appreciate that. Yeah.
So, and that's all storytelling. We all understand storytelling is important.
It's, what makes the world go round.
Right. Because it's not just a business. It's a family, right? It's a mom, it's your tia selling shoes that she found.
Yeah.
With a bat on the side, protecting the shoebox full of money. Yeah.
Everybody needs a pair of Mikes.
Yeah. That's fucking amazing, dude. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming by LA Taco. We really appreciate you guys helping us out too. We tell our own stories. I know hopefully we'll show up on the Community Chronicles.
There you go.
And they've helped us out at LA Taco too with some micro lending. We really appreciate all that help, and to all the businesses out there. How can people find out about you?
Oh, man. Instagram is probably the best way, TMC Community Capital, our website, tmccommunitycapital.org. But you won't have to look far. Again, we're usually, pretty close by.
Yeah. Look for the cute guy with glasses and sneakers on. All right, man. Thanks a lot for coming.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.